Welcome back. I hope you had a nice lunch. We had a nice lunch, and we're now ready for the after lunch wake up, which is something special. Robert Karlsson is the innovative director, co-artistic director, and performer of music. He got his diploma degree in viola and violin at the Royal Academy of Music in Denmark in 2004 already. And he collaborates with Between Music. And we will show you a performance that is pre-recorded. And we hope you enjoy this. And we may have Robert live afterwards here, maybe to give some background information and maybe to answer some questions. But first, Between Music and Robert Karlsson. Well, that was definitely an interesting piece of anthropogenic noise underwater. And we hope to have Robert Karlsson also present in Zoom. Robert, are you here? I can see you, I don't hear you yet, but now I can, I think. Yes, so that was very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit how this piece came about?
Well, it is
Occurred to me is that typically music is thought of as a harmonious thing in where you have to hear what the others are doing. But these musicians were each in a separate tank, weren't they? That must mean something for the connectivity.
We are 5 musicians, as you can see, and so we can hear each other play actually together.
Okay, so the music is shared while playing. Yes.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So the music is shared while playing, so they can hear each other.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is a live performance, so we play everything live.
And because that means that there is digital feedback and not necessarily the audible part of the music in the water is playing such a role. Or did you choose your instruments such that they were well audible underwater or not?
Yes, it has been a long journey to find instruments that work underwater, and we had to build special made instruments with different instrument makers in New York and UK and Canada to have something that works well and also make them work steady and sound same every time we play them.
Yeah, we know that fish, they use drumming with the swim ladder and they stridulate with pharyngeal jaws. Are you inspired by the natural world? I did hear some kind of whale kind calls, which by making with your fingers on the glass. Is that also inspired by nature?
Well, we like to pose questions and not answers, but we, in our early research, we listened to some whale sounds and to try to copy this, but we didn't incorporate it in the actual performance.
Okay, well, it was very interesting. I believe we have another short video from you.
Yes.
Maybe there are questions from the chat.
No, only applause.
Only applause. So there's lots of applause.
Fantastic, amazing.
Fantastic.
Yes, the second video is about that we are recording an album right now, and to fulfill this project, we wanted to use underwater reverb to enhance the music. And there is actually no such thing recorded as underwater reverb. So now we're collaborating with the University of South Denmark and Aarhus University to record underwater reverb in Nordic waters in Faroe Islands and Greenland and Finland and Sweden and Denmark to use this in our music.
Nice.
I think one question also from
Niels has a question
I
here.
have a question, Robert. Do you also, in some way, do live performances? Is that possible in your setting?
Yes, we have toured since 2016 and been to most of Europe, also in Netherlands twice. And we actually premiered in Rotterdam in 2016. We also been in Sydney and Hong Kong. So and working on a tour to South America after the pandemic.
Very nice. And there is another question from the chat.
If it was your own composition or were you improvising?
No, it is a full 1 hour composition made by our artistic director and composer, Laila Skogman. So, controlled environment, and it is a full composition.
Okay, so the next video will start now.
I Between Musics DNA, der ligger der en konstant søgen efter nye kunstneriske udtryk. Og i den søgen, der havner vi ofte i nogle situationer, hvor at det vi leder efter, det simpelthen ikke findes. Og derfor så er det så vigtigt, det er fuldstændig essentielt for vores arbejde, at vi kan samarbejde tæt med forskere, der er dykket ned i noget meget specifik viden, eller med virksomheder, der udvikler og arbejder med den nyeste teknologi.
Mitt fokus är ljud under vandet, så jag arbetar med hur dyr kommunikerar under vandet med hjälp av lyde, og også hvordan de kan finne føde gjennom at sende ut signaler og lytte efter de ekkoer som kommer tilbage, ligesom flagermus gør om natten.
Lige nu så er vi ved at optage AquaSonic-musikken, og for at forstærke den her lyd under vand, så er vi gået i gang med et helt nyt projekt. Og det er nemlig, at vi vil optage undervandsrumklang, undervandslyd, som vi så mixer ind i musikken.
Vi arbejder sammen med Between Music i det her projekt, for at vi synes, det er rigtig vigtigt, at vi som forskere kan få hjælp af kunstnere til at få andre mennesker til at bedre forstå, hvor vigtigt det er at have fokus på havmiljøet.
Det er blevet til et stort projekt, hvor vi rejser ud i de nordiske vande for at opsamle forskellige rumklange, alt efter om det er i nærheden af klipper, eller gletsjer eller sandstrand.
Okay, that was very interesting. Thank you. So I have another question, but maybe in the chat there's more after this video.
No questions in the chat. No.
So I can see there is a clear artistic aim here, but I think it is also a project that is very suitable to make people aware of the sound underwater and that we not just have sounds in air. Is there anything in that direction that you aim for as well?
Well, of course, we love to share our knowledge and interact with scientists. So this is, of course, we can work together as the movie, this video shows that it is an area that is not so well known to record underwater reverb. So we can use it in our artistic product, but we can also, the scientists can use our goals to achieve new knowledge for them.
Yeah, I'm of course thinking out aloud, but I can see a performance in a swimming pool where not only the performers are in the water, but also the audience is in the water, and that you can actually choose to be in air or in water, both the audience and the performance, and that may give a very rich idea and brings the message across a lot, that sound is traveling well maybe underwater, that we hear something different when we go underwater or in air, and probably that sound is not traveling well from one medium to the other. Have you had any experience in that context?
Well, yes, of course. When you are playing music in these aquariums, we use underwater microphones, hydrophones to get the sound out. Otherwise, the audience wouldn't hear anything. And we actually tried back in 2013 to play in a swimming pool with the audience, but it was a total mess. So we dropped that idea and just stick to this controlled environment with 5 big tanks.
What was the mess about? Acoustically,
well, you couldn't, since both the hydrophones and the speakers were in the same water, we couldn't turn up the volume, so it was quite low. And the audience close to us, they splashed around to get down because they didn't have lead belts, so they couldn't really hear it. And the people in the back of the swimming pool, they could hear it, but they couldn't see it. So it was kind of a beautiful experience, but not really doable. Nothing we want to do again.
It reflects nicely the complexity of these issues and what animals have to deal with, I guess, in the natural world. Okay, yes. Are there any more questions in the chat? Otherwise, in view of the time,
there's a comment, I think.
There's a comment.
Joe Cahan at Wet Sounds has been experimenting with audience participation, and it can sometimes work well.
Yeah, I think it is very interesting.
It can work, but the complexity, of course, that some instruments are very low in the volume, and some are very high, like drums. Then it's really hard to make a balance that makes musical sense.
Cool.
And I've asked if somebody wanted to book you in the chat, but unfortunately no bookings yet. But I'll keep you posted on that.
Cool. Thank you very much, Robert, for this very interesting contribution to our scientific day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on with the program.